Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a weekly wrap-up and also a little bit of a channel update as well. First of all, we are coming to the close of July, and that means we're coming to the close of Rocket Summer, a wonderful new event that Michael K. Vaughan created for us this summer, and I was honored to be a co-host. This week, we were reading vintage science fiction from the 1960s. I have already done a separate video on what I read for the 1960s, and I'll link that below, but I'll just briefly show the books that I reviewed in a separate video. One was Algis Budrys's novel Rocommon, and I also read James Blish's adaptation Star Trek Volume 1. This is 7 stories from the very first season of the original Star Trek, which aired in 1966, 1967. This book was written in or published in January of 1967, and that's also included in the video that I'm linking below. And then I also read the very first novel that Ursula K. LeGuin wrote, which was the beginning of her Hastings cycle. So the first book that I read was Rocommon's World, and that's included in this beautiful Library of America volume. I have a 2-volume set of Ursula K. LeGuin, the Hastings story novels and stories. And so while the first book in the series is not her best known book, I thought, for me as a novice in the genre, I thought that that was a good place for me to start. And I understand that you can actually read these books in any order. They're not really sequential. Also, I have continued my reading of Liz Moore's The God of the Woods. And this is a novel that I'm reading for my real life book group, and we're going to be discussing this actually later in August. So I'm not going to talk about this here on the channel until my group has had a chance to meet and to talk about it. But whoa, what an incredible book. A thriller, a literary thriller, just really, really intriguing story. But more about this after the group has had a chance to meet and talk about it. I've also made a separate video, which I will link below, about our Ulysses read-along. We completed Ulysses this week, and we had our last live stream discussion, or the last of our live stream discussions. There's going to be one more posted, but we had been reading Ulysses throughout June and July with a wonderful group, phenomenal group of booktubers. We've come to call ourselves the Ulysses Six, and I'll list all of them in the notes below. But we met again yesterday to do our wrap-up discussion of this incredible experience, and I'll link my sort of summary video on the whole experience. I'll link that below. And I just want to give one more shout out to Patrick Hastings, the guide to James Joyce's Ulysses. I have now become, I've introduced myself to Patrick Hastings, and we've had a delightful email exchange, because in the acknowledgments to his book, I discovered that we both went to the same graduate school and that we had at least one mentor in common, and this book was so helpful to me this time around on Ulysses, and it was very helpful to a few of the other members of the Ulysses Six. And so I reached out to Patrick Hastings, and we've had a delightful email exchange. And to anybody who's thinking about reading Ulysses in the near future, this is the book to read to accompany you on your journey. Okay. Starting this week, starting with the beginning of August, I'm going to be participating in a buddy read and in a couple of fun booktube events. I'm going to be reading Stephen King's The Stand with my good friend Kim at Middle of the Book March. We both have had this giant book on our list of books to be read, and I talked about it in some video or other way back and said, you know, this is going to be the summer. I'm going to read this. And Kim reached out, and we've decided to read it together, and I'm so thrilled at the prospect of reading a book with Kim and having the opportunity to talk about it. Kim was one of my very, very early booktube discoveries when I was just spending a year watching booktube before I decided to create a channel of my own, and I just love the content that she produces, and I'm thrilled to be reading and talking about this book with Kim. We're going to start that on August 1st. We're probably going to read it into September as well. And both The Stand and Ulysses, and actually The Stand, Ulysses, and also The God of the Woods, all of these count for the Big Books of Summer challenge created by Sue Jackson. All three of these books are more than 400 pages, and that's all you need. You need a book of 400 pages to participate in the Big Books of Summer challenge. So that's 3 more big books for this summer. Additionally, I am going to be participating in Faulkner in August. And this summer, we are reading As I Lay Dying. So I'm excited to be reading this, and some of the people who are in this group, from what I can see so far, are members of the Ulysses Six. So we'll have another opportunity to read a book together and to talk about it. Really looking forward to that as well. Next, I'm going to try to put a link to a video that I saw this week made by my good friend Marilyn Mendoza. Marilyn created a video about an event that she is going to sponsor in this upcoming month, because she is observing her 4th anniversary on BookTube, and she also has a birthday coming up in August. And so she's creating an event called the Phenomenal Woman Readathon. And that is in part because of her deep association with Maya Angelou, who has a very famous poem called Phenomenal Woman. You have to see Marilyn's video to understand the connection that she has with Maya Angelou. So for this this event, she's inviting people to read something by Maya Angelou, whether it be poetry or one of her many books, and she has a multi-volume memoir series, but to read something by Maya Angelou, and I have plenty to choose from. I have her complete poetry, in one volume. And I also have all of her memoirs in one volume. The collected, the collected autobiographies of Maya Angelou. I was thinking anyway that I wanted to do a reread of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and that would also be a banned book. So I haven't read it in a number of years. That might be one to start with. This collection has I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Gathered Together in My Name, Singin' and Swingin' and Gettin' Merry Like Christmas, The Heart of a Woman, All God's Children Need Travelin' Shoes, and A Song Flung Up to Heaven. So surely I will be able to find plenty of Maya Angelou to read. And then we're also invited to read any book written by a phenomenal woman. So I'm going to think about that some more because I think there are many, many wonderful, wonderful possibilities. And then I'm going to be participating in my first ever GarbAugust. And you all know what that is already. I'm just learning about it, but I've been watching all of the introductory videos made by the wonderful co-hosts, and they are just delightful. I know there's going to be a group read of Jacqueline Susann's Valley of the Dolls. I think that my mother had a first edition of that book, and I don't know how it is that that didn't come to me, because I have most of my mother's first editions, but I don't seem to be able to find that. But I remember that book being on the shelves when I was a little kid, so I think she had the original. But anyway, I have it on my Kindle, and I was, I don't know, I'm just watching everybody's videos to try to figure out what I should be reading for GarbAugust. One thing that I did think of was a book that I actually read when I was a teenager. I want to say I was like 17 when I read Harold Robbins' A Stone for Danny Fisher. And I didn't know that I was reading trashy fiction back then. I loved this book, and I know I haven't reread it since the 1970s. So maybe this would be a good possibility. I don't know. Thinking about it, but I'm just watching everybody's videos and getting ideas from everybody else about what they're reading. I don't know that I can do all of the prompts, but I think I'm going to have my hands full with everything again that I have taken on. But I'm in there. I'm going to be reading some trashy fiction. So that's what I've read and what I'm hoping to read starting August 1st. And then I wanted to just do a brief update on a little change that I'm making in the channel, because I know that some people are going to be looking for some of my videos, and I wanted to explain why they're not going to be appearing. Many of you know that I've been doing a poetry short every day since the beginning of April. I started doing it for April, which is National Poetry Month, and actually it's International Poetry Month. It's celebrated in many parts of the world. So I started it in April, where I just did poetry shorts. I would do a 1 minute or less video where I would read some poem that had some meaning to me. And I loved doing it. I really enjoyed doing it. And a bunch of my subscribers started commenting on those little videos regularly. And so when May came, I actually kind of missed not doing the poetry shorts. So I started doing them up again. So I've done a poetry short every day since the beginning of April. And I did that through April, May, June, and July. And I actually had posted this coming week's worth of poetry shorts, so I actually had done it through the end of July. But I've decided not to continue with the series. I was once again trolled in a really vicious and disgusting way. This last one, BookTube, or YouTube themselves flagged it and put it aside for me to review, and of course I deleted the comment and took the proper precautions that MJ has taught me to do. But this last comment was disgustingly obscene and then personally insulting to me. I have had a bunch of different people comment on these shorts about my age, asking me who I think I am, what do I think I'm doing here. This last one, which was filled with obscenities, also told me that I needed to get myself to a nursing home really soon. And this was, I was reading a poem, a beloved poem. So I have decided, the shorts go out there. They have a different viewership than my regular videos. I have people who regularly watch them and comment on them, and I love that, and I love that interchange, but I can't keep subjecting myself to this kind of assault, and it is an assault. I end up with heart palpitations, and I can't get rid of them. It lasts, it can last for hours, and I have a cardiologist. I'm under a doctor's care, not on my way to a nursing home, but this is all being taken care of. But I need to, as my dear friend Debs at Rainer Reed's Stuff said, I need to protect myself. I need to take care of myself. So I'm not stopping with poetry. I'm going to get poetry into my longer videos, but I'm not going to subject myself to what I've been subjected to recently. So I wanted to say that for those of you who have come to look for my poetry videos, and please know how much I value you and cherish you and treasure your appreciation and your comments. But I wanted you to know why you're not going to be seeing the poetry shorts anymore. But I'll find ways to get little bits of poetry into videos that hopefully will be on your radar, and that hopefully you will see. So I just felt like I needed to explain that. I didn't want to just have that part of the channel disappear without any kind of explanation. But don't worry about me. I'm in a good place, and I have beloved friends here who reach out to me when these things happen, and I feel very well cared for. But I did want to explain. Okay, so that's my weekly wrap up and a bit of an explanation about some things that you're going to not be seeing in the future on the channel. So as always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.